Hey guys, Shane here at CrossFit helping you go further, faster in fitness. And today I wanted to talk to you about the lessons of life. The lessons that we get every single day that will either A, change us, B, educate us to stay in the same position, or it'll be a bit of an example, will be a bit of a story for somebody else. Now, I bring this up because the last 30-something days have been all about learning for me, learning about my ability to handle stress, learning about my ability to deal with problems and spot fires and put them out, my ability to deal with things out of my control. And it was a reminder to me to let everybody that wanted to listen know. Life will give you lessons at every turn of the corner. At the moment, we are all experiencing a lesson that we might not have lived before. Being in isolation, being in lockdown, we are experiencing new emotions that we have never had to deal with before. We are seeing how we respond. Some of us respond with violence, aggression, and frustration. You can see that in the protest, in some of the protesters from last weekend in Sydney and around Australia. Some of us respond with complete and utter submission. Right? We will do whatever we're told whenever we're told to do it, and we won't question a thing. Some of us are born in the middle, and some of us experience and learn these lessons that we have in the middle of both of those. We're angry, but we do what we're told, and we're right in the middle. We're stuck. And those lessons are always going to be there. Those lessons are going to be given to us, and we're going to replay them and repeat them for as many times as we need to learn something from them, mostly. Mostly, we will take something away from those lessons to either enhance, hopefully, or probably solidify the fact that, what we're doing isn't so great. Because I've done things in the past multiple times, even though I know that they weren't good for me. Staying up late, having a terrible diet, going out and drinking, all those sorts of things that I've done in the past, I didn't do just once. I did thousands of times, and I had that lesson, right? I would wake up in the morning with a hangover, and there was a lesson there. If this is how you want to feel, Shane, this is what you do, and you're going to write that down in your little book of life, and then you're going to know the outcome. And if that's the outcome that you want every single day, then that is exactly what you should do. And then therefore next weekend, if you repeat it, this is what you're going to get. And I knew that, and I know that about life. It's giving me a point to learn from, or it's going to solidify my thoughts and my beliefs. So the reason I bring this up really is because a lot of my clients have, they're going through there's some challenges in their own world. Their motivation, their discipline, their food choices are good and bad. And then during this lockdown period, they have been faced with new emotions. So therefore, they handle it in a different way. And my reminder to a specific client that I'm thinking about was simply, they told me that they were disappointed in their behavior. They were disappointed in the way that they acted during the week. They were disappointed in the level of energy they put into their training. They were disappointed in the level of focus they put into their diet. And they were just overall quite disappointed. And then I just thought of it like this, and I don't think I've replied yet, but I will reply to this individual, and it's more about this. It's more about, okay, that was a lesson that you got last week. You didn't make the wrong choices. You made choices and got a result. Now, that's okay. If that's the way that you want to feel next week, then you didn't do anything wrong, because that's the way that you are choosing to feel, consciously or subconsciously. But what I'm looking at here to help this person understand is that there was a lesson to be learnt about how your actions make you feel, how your actions lead you to a specific position in life, either a position or an opportunity of progress or a position or opportunity of regression. And you are going to make that choice. There's no right or wrong. Like, it's not wrong because you made that choice. The choices you make aren't wrong. They're your choices. If what you value and what you want to get out of life and the things that you want to do to change, then all you got to do is look back over that week and think, well, I made these decisions last week, and they weren't wrong for that week. But for this week, I don't want that same outcome. So this week, I'm going to take the lesson that I learned last week, and I'm going to change what I'm doing now because I know the outcome already. I know how I'm going to feel. I know that if I repeat those things that I did last week with poor nutrition, poor performance, poor sleep, poor self-care, then I'm going to get a specific type of response again this week. It'll be the same. And I don't want the same response. I don't want the same outcome. So therefore, my life's lesson is to change what I do. This week, I will prioritize food preparation. This week, I will push through for at least 7 to 10 minutes of training. This week, I will look after myself. This week, I will go to sleep at optimal times. This week, I will hydrate. Now, most of my Shane Talks are about, small self-improvements that make a big difference over a course of a lifetime. If you can start writing down, and I have a little book, Life Lessons on it, right? You literally write this week's lessons in that book, on that page. You write, July 1st lessons, July 7th lessons, whatever. And you list down a whole bunch of things that you feel you learnt from, and the decision that you made in those moments, and those choices you made in those moments, and then the outcome. And then next week, or the week that you're living in currently, the present moment, you feel that you were torn with a decision. You're torn. All day you have not felt like training. All day you have not felt like eating well. Okay, well, let's go back and look at what I did last week. And last week it says here that I did F all with training and my nutrition was poor. I chose to eat badly as opposed to eating well. The outcome was heaps of mental fatigue. I had a little bit of, gastric bloating. I had, my aggression levels were higher. There's a list of outcomes that were from those choices. So now I'm looking back at that page. I'm looking back at just one page for each week and the things that I've learned on it. So therefore, in the present moment, when I go to make that same decision where I'm not going to train today, I'm not going to give myself at least 10 to 15 minutes, or I'm not going to eat at least a handful of healthy meals today, I know that I'm going to get this specific outcome because I can see it. I've written it down. I've experienced it before. I've lived it before. I don't need any more proof. I've created data. I have my own data to pull from, and I know that it's not what I want. So I need to make the opposite decision this week. I make the opposite decision. I write down, I went for 3 15-minute walks. I drank 2.3 liters of water most days. I slept at average of 7.5 hours this week, and here's how I felt. This is the outcome. These were the lessons. These were the choices I made, and this was the result, my test mark. I was tested daily. This is my test mark. And this is what happened. These are my percentages, right? I felt great. I had improved digestive health. My energy levels were great, better than the week before. Maybe not great because sometimes I never feel great. I feel better. I felt like I actually had muscle tone, and I felt like my body was designed to do what it was designed to do. I had no back pain. I had no leg pain, no knee pain. I felt better, and they're my results. So I know that next week when I'm living in the present moment, I'm going to refer back to the week and I'm going to make better decisions, which then helps you make more decisions in your favor over the entire week. Because when you start this, and the reason I started this was because I felt like my life was a mess. I felt like it was muddled up, and I felt that I knew all the stuff that I was doing, but I was making the wrong choices sometimes and getting the wrong results. So I needed to have something to refer back to so that this week I can look and go, last week you felt like a piece of shit, and this is why. I can legitimately look at the page and say, you felt like a piece of shit because you didn't train, you didn't eat well, and you didn't drink enough water, and you didn't go to bed on time. You didn't show appreciation and gratitude for those around you. You didn't do any of these things. So of course you're going to feel like shit, Shane. So now when you are faced in the present moment on a Tuesday, which is what it is today, you have a decision to make. Are you going to make the same choice you already made last week, or are you going to change your freaking course? Because at some point this story is going to get old. This book is going to be full of bullshit excuses and painful experiences and lessons, and you are failing those lessons, right? You're not doing what you want to do in the present moment. You're not changing anything. I know there's no pass or fail. There just is. I get that. But, you get my point. So this present moment, now I'm looking back, I'm seeing the change, I'm seeing, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to drink 300 mils of water. Even if I don't want to, I'm going to go get some water, I'm going to drink it. Even if I don't want to train right now, I'm going to put a timer on, I'm going to do some push-ups and some sit-ups, and I don't care what it is, because that's not the point. The point is it's different to last week. I did something different, I'm going to get a different outcome, and that is what I need to remember. And that is why this page and this diary, this life lessons diary, whatever you want to call it, this journal of failures, not failures, let's not use that word, this journal of choices that I've made that led to outcomes, I've got the blueprint to my life. I'm making the blueprint to my life. That's what it's for. That's what it's about. And this week, it's been needed for me more than ever. I put a post up in our members group just yesterday about how hard it was. But I told everyone that I'd learned a lesson though. You know, I knew it was hard training yesterday. I didn't want to do anything. Everything sucked. The last couple of days, everything was hard. However, yesterday I made myself train. I did something. I actually went and did, I think it was 25 minutes of training. Oof. About a third of what I used to do. 25 minutes worth of training. And then I came to the realization, this is what I learned. This was my outcome. Shane, you spent 25 minutes of training. It was hard. However, giving up and not training again until lockdown was over, which is where my headspace was, I'm just not going to do anything. It's just all just too much. I don't like it. It's too hard. Yeah, good call. What is that going to get me? I know what it's getting me. It's getting me a depressed emotional feeling, and I'm getting more anxious than ever, and I'm feeling like a piece of shit. So therefore, yesterday when I went to make that same choice, I thought back to the result or the outcome that I had last time I made that choice, which was just the day before. And I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So I put the timer on and I did 25 minutes worth of work. It was 5 rounds. It was basically a run, some kettlebell swings, and some pull-ups. 5 rounds of like 12, whatever it was. It doesn't matter what the rep range is. My point is, I knew that no matter how hard it was in that moment to change the week before, the outcome before, it was quite a challenge. I knew it had to be changed because I didn't want to feel that way anymore because I had made a log of how that felt. I knew how that felt. I reminded myself, you don't want to feel this way. This is how it feels. Let's change that shit around. Let's do something different. Cool. I did that. I made the 25 minutes. And then I came to the realization that no matter how hard that was, no matter how hard that seemed to me, that if I'd given up from that session that I just completed to the time that we got our lockdown, which is what I wanted. I was being a baby. I was chucking a tantrum. I just wanted to be better. I just want it to all end. None of that shit is in my control. And so I knew that when I would restart in fucking 3 months' time of giving up every single session to train, that it would be 50 times harder than anything I was feeling right this moment to start. I knew that. I know that giving up 4 or 5 weeks of training and doing fuck all is going to mean that when I do start to train again, it is going to be 50 times harder for me to train. For me to start. If some people, like I know I'll start, it's my profession, it's what I do. Some people are living the same life that I was living and then they will never start again. There will be years that go by for some people and they never pick up the gym vibe again, the gym hobby again. They will let it go. And that is a very scary thing for me as a trainer to see and almost experience myself. And this is my profession. This is what I do to earn money. This is how I live my life. This is my purpose, my passion. This is what I do. That was terrifying for me to understand in my own brain, that I needed to get that out to you guys so that you could understand that no matter how hard it feels, giving up won't lead you to a worse place, and that you don't want to feel the same way that you felt last time you made that decision. And I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I'd given up on feeling shit. I just decided that I didn't want to feel the same way I felt yesterday. It wasn't even a week ago. It was the day before I'd given up. I didn't train. And I regretted that. And then I thought back. I used my life lessons. What did I learn yesterday? What lessons did life teach me yesterday that I can now change today? And that was one of them. And that was the biggest one. And I did it and I felt way better. And today, guess what? It's a snowball effect. Today I feel like training. I mean, hey, I tell you what, I don't feel like training like I used to 3 months ago when training was life, because life was a little easier. But you know what? I feel like training more than I felt like training 2 days ago. And yesterday was the catalyst for that. That was the reason that it changed, because I learned from the data that I had in my own bloody blueprint, my own life blueprint of how I need to live my life. You know what else is on there? And I don't want to bore you too much because you get the point, but it was reading. I read 30 to 40 pages over a couple of days last week, and then I gave up towards the end of the week. I didn't give up. Let's 100%, I gave up. I didn't do it. So I wrote that down. Shane, you didn't read today. How'd that make you feel? What lesson did you learn? I felt like my brain was absolutely stagnant. It felt like it was in mud. When I read the outcome, the data that I had from the last time I read, the data that I had written down was that you feel satisfied, you feel accomplished, you feel smarter, you feel expressed. I think reading and creativity projects help me express myself so much, and I love it. So I wrote that down in my life lesson diary, and I hadn't reflected on that at the end of the week last week, and then I made poor decisions. Had I stopped and went, Shane, go read the last time you decided to not read at night, what did you feel like? And I read, you felt like a silly slug. You felt like an absolute slug, and you felt like silly, and you didn't You just didn't feel good going to bed. In fact, the nights that I didn't read were the nights that I had the most trouble sleeping, which is weird, right? I need to write that down. That's another data point, right? I just figured that out right now live with you. I actually had trouble sleeping. So now I need to go back and make sure that I write that down, because now when I go to make that decision tonight not to read, I'm going to read that data point and say, oh, bloody hell, I need to go and read. Anyway, that's enough. You get the point, guys. If you're going to keep a life lessons diary and you're going to get amongst this and start doing this for your days just to help you, because you do need to refer back to things when you're feeling like an ass, and you need to remind yourself how much of an ass you felt like, and therefore that'll motivate you and make you use your discipline to do something better. Then tag me, share it with me, because I want to know. I want a collective community out there that are doing the things that we know we need to do to be the best variations of ourselves that we can possibly be. Remember, everything we've got in life is a reflection of the choices that we have made. Every single choice we have made has gotten to this point. I have everything in front of me. I have everything in my life because of the choices I made. I could have a completely different life if I chose to. It could be worse, and it could be better. I could have done a whole lot more to push myself. Trust me. I'm not working that hard. I'm not working the hard. I'm not the hardest worker in the room. I know that's the general statement, but I'm not the hardest worker in the room. There are other people out there that are harder workers than me, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to put things together. I'm trying to be honest. It's tough, but I can make those choices. You've got that potential within you too. Don't forget that. And until next time, guys, I will see you when I see you.